Hello there, and welcome to the Sleeping Science Bedtime. Tonight, we'll drift through the quiet architecture of your own biology, a place where safety is not a decision, but a design. Perhaps the day has been full of noise, demanding that your attention be scattered across 1,000 different points of light. Let your shoulders rest. Let gravity hold you. Tonight, we'll drift through the quiet laws of your innate instincts for rest, observing how the body knows the way home. If this calm space brings you peace, consider sharing it. It helps other wandering minds find their way here too. Now let's begin. You are lying still, and yet, deep within the hidden landscapes of your interior, there is a gentle and continuous movement. It is not the frantic motion of the waking world, but a slow, deliberate shifting of gears, invisible to the eye, but felt in the quiet of the blood. Your body is not simply a vessel that has stopped moving. It is a sophisticated instrument that has recognized the signal to wind down. Every cell is listening to the environment, sensing the stillness of the room and the softness of the sheets, and translating these physical sensations into a chemical language of reassurance. We often imagine instinct as a sudden sharp urge to run, to fight, or to freeze in the face of a shadow. But there is another side to this ancient coin, soft and silver, which is just as powerful and just as primal as the urge to survive. It is the instinct to settle, a deep-seated command written into your genetic code that tells you when the perimeter is safe. This system does not require your conscious permission to begin its work. It operates on an ancient wisdom that predates your name, knowing exactly how to lower the defenses when the night arrives. Deep in the marrow, there is a silent pull toward balance, a state that biologists call homeostasis, which is simply the body's desire to return to center. Your biology is constantly tilting, gently and invisibly, to find the perfect equilibrium between activity and recovery, between the expenditure of energy and its careful conservation. Tonight, the scales are tipping slowly toward the side of restoration, guided by a biological heavy hand that values your rest above all else. It is a process as natural as water finding its level, flowing downward into the deepest, most sheltered hollows of the earth. Think of your nervous system not as a chaotic storm of electrical impulses, but as a vast, shimmering net of safety that spans the length of you. For much of the day, this net is pulled tight, vibrating with the tension necessary to navigate the complexities of the world, sensing for changes in the wind. But now, in the safety of this quiet space, the tension slackens and the mesh softens, allowing the heavy weight of the day to slip through. The alertness that kept your eyes wide and your muscles primed is fading, replaced by a slower, deeper rhythm that rises from the core, and the network endures. This capacity for rest is an inheritance, passed down through lines of life unbroken by time, a gift from ancestors who learned to find sanctuary in the dark. You are built to recover, designed with the same precision that shapes the curve of a wing or the spiral of a shell. There is no part of you that is fighting against this rest. Every system is cooperating to usher you into the quiet. The struggle to sleep is often a misunderstanding of the mind, but the body knows no such confusion. The body knows only the truth of the cycle. At the base of the brain, where the oldest memories of the species live, a quiet watcher sits, monitoring the signals from your senses. It tastes the air for the temperature, listens to the cadence of the silence, and feels the pressure of the mattress against your back. When these inputs align, when the world is warm, still, and soft, this ancient guardian sends a cascade of permission throughout the frame. It signals that the vigilance of the day can be laid down, that the watch is over, and that the gates to the inner sanctuary may be opened. Your skin seeks warmth, not just for the sake of comfort, but because heat was the first promise of survival, a memory of the sun and the hearth. The blanket you pull around you is more than a layer of fabric. It is a signal to your thermoreceptors that you are protected from the elements. This gentle accumulation of warmth triggers a widening of the small vessels near the surface, a phenomenon that draws heat away from the core and invites a drowsy, heavy sensation to spread through the limbs. It is a biological embrace, mimicking the safety of a nest. Quietly, the system restores itself. Notice the breath as it leaves you. It is a slow tide, sending a chemical message to the heart that the danger has passed. With every long exhalation, you are stimulating the vagus nerve, a wandering path of fibers that connects the brain to the beating center of the chest. This nerve is the conductor of the parasympathetic orchestra, the part of you that governs peace, digestion, and regeneration. As you breathe out, you are physically pressing the brake pedal on the engine of the heart, slowing its rhythm to a gentle, sustainable idle. Gravity is not a weight to be fought, but an embrace to be accepted, a constant force that anchors you to the safety of the ground. Your muscles loosen, knowing the earth will not let go, and this surrender of tension is an act of profound biological trust. When the body feels supported, it stops calculating the energy needed to hold itself up, releasing that potential into the reserve of sleep. The sensation of heaviness is not fatigue in the negative sense, but the feeling of the muscles returning to their neutral, resting length. The dim light of the room is not an absence of vision, but a presence of calm, a specific key that turns the lock of drowsiness in the blood. Your eyes, even when closed, sense the lack of blue daylight and signal the pineal gland to begin its nightly work. This small pine-cone-shaped structure deep in the brain begins to weave melatonin, a molecular messenger that drifts through the bloodstream like a soft fog. It does not force you to sleep. It simply whispers to every organ that it is time to dim the lights, and peace hums through the body. Even the salt in your veins remembers an ancient sea, a chemical composition that mirrors the primal oceans where life first began to drift. We are bodies of water, seeking the level stillness of a calm lagoon where the sediments of the day can settle to the bottom. In this horizontal state, the fluids of the body shift, moving from the legs toward the chest and head, triggering sensors that tell the kidneys to relax their conservation. The internal tide is high and full, washing over the banks of the tissues with a nutrient-rich pulse. In the absence of sudden sound, the ears relax their vigilance, no longer straining to categorize the noises of the environment as friend or foe. The auditory nerves stop hunting for threats and settle into a low, receptive hum, tuning themselves to the frequency of your own respiration. This quiet is not empty. It is filled with the sound of your own existence, a steady, rhythmic proof of life that requires no effort to maintain. The silence outside becomes a mirror for the silence growing inside, a resonance of peace. Energy, once poised at the edges of your limbs for action and reaction, now retreats inward, gathering in the core like a warm hearth of vitality. This redistribution is the hallmark of the rest and digest state, where the body prioritizes the long-term projects of healing and growth over the short-term needs of movement. The fire of your metabolism burns lower and slower, a gentle ember rather than a roaring flame, conserving fuel for the deep work of the night. It is a time of microscopic repair, where the smallest structures are tended to with infinite care. The current flows without effort. There is a profound intelligence in this surrender, a recognition that the conscious mind cannot manage the trillions of interactions keeping you alive. You are handing over the controls to an autopilot that has been refined over millions of years, a system that has never forgotten how to keep you safe. Trust is the final ingredient in this physiological recipe, a trust that the breath will come, that the heart will beat, and that the dawn will return. You are safe in the hands of your own biology, held by the wisdom of the bone and the blood. The concept of safety is written into the very architecture of your spine, in the way the vertebrae stack and the nerves branch out like roots. When you curl up, bringing your knees slightly closer to your chest, you are enacting a posture of protection that dates back to the womb. This fetal position is physically comforting because it softens the abdomen and rounds the back, reducing the mechanical strain on the skeleton. It is a shape that says, "I am contained," creating a physical boundary between the self and the vastness of the space around you. As the external world recedes, the internal world becomes more vivid, not with images, but with the sensation of being inhabited. You might feel small twitches or flutters as the muscles discharge their residual tension, little sparks of electricity fading into the ground. These are not signs of restlessness, but the breaking of the circuit, the final static of a machine powering down. Allow these small movements to ripple through you, observing them as a gentle observer would watch leaves falling from a tree in autumn, and the quiet holds. The temperature of your brain begins to drop by a fraction of a degree, a subtle cooling that is essential for the onset of deep slumber. This thermal descent is aided by the warming of your hands and feet, which act as radiators, releasing heat into the cool air of the room. It is a beautiful paradox. To cool the mind, you must warm. The extremities, a balancing act of physics and physiology. You are a self-regulating climate, creating the perfect atmosphere for the weather of dreams to roll in. Consider the softness of the surface beneath you, how it conforms to the unique topography of your shape, meeting you at every point of contact. This tactile feedback is crucial. It tells the proprioceptors, the senses of position, that you are stable and stationary. Without the need to calculate balance or trajectory, the brain's mapping centers can go dark, ceasing their constant triangulation of where you are in space. You are here, nowhere else, and that is enough. The rhythm of your thoughts begins to match the rhythm of your body, slowing from the staccato pace of analysis to the legato flow of drift. The sharp edges of logic act as if they are being smoothed over by a river, the stones of worry becoming round and polished. It is becoming harder to hold on to a single complex idea, and this difficulty is a mercy, a sign that the higher cortex is bowing out. The stage is being cleared for a different kind of thinking, one that is associative, fluid, and free from the constraints of time. Quietly, the system restores itself. Within the bloodstream, the levels of cortisol, the hormone of stress and alertness, are dropping to their lowest point of the 24-hour cycle. The chemical alarm bells that rang during the day are being silenced, one by one, replaced by the soothing presence of serotonin and adenosine. This is a chemical changing of the guard, a peaceful transition of power from the forces of action to the forces of recovery. Your blood is becoming a calm river, carrying the nutrients of peace to every remote outpost of your anatomy. The mammalian heart is a creature of rhythm, and it seeks to synchronize with the slow, steady beat of the world at rest. When you lie still, your heart rate variability increases, a technical term that simply means your heart is becoming more responsive, more flexible. It dances lightly between the beats, no longer marching to the rigid drum of stress, but swaying to the subtle music of the breath. This flexibility is a sign of deep health, a resilience that blooms only in the soil of relaxation. There is a sense of returning to a baseline, a resetting of the biological clock that has been ticking since the moment of your conception. This clock is not mechanical, but cellular, a symphony of genes turning on and off in perfect time. With the rotation of the planet, you are entrained to the cosmos, your internal rhythms locked in step with the fading light and the rising moon. To rest is to align yourself with the turning of the earth, to become part of the great slow revolution of the spheres. And peace hums through the body. The muscles of the face, often the last to let go, begin to smooth out, the tension draining from the jaw and the brow. We carry so much of our identity in our expressions, holding the mask of who we are against the world. But here, in the dark, there is no need for expression, no need to communicate or convince. The face returns to neutrality, to a stillness that is open and unwritten, erasing the lines of concentration that the day has etched. Even the digestion slows, the stomach settling into a quiet rhythm that requires little energy, a gentle simmer rather than a boil. The enteric nervous system, the second brain in the gut, sends signals of satiety and comfort to the head. It is a feeling of fullness, not just of food, but of safety, a primal satisfaction that says there is enough, that the hunt is over. This visceral contentment acts as a heavy anchor, keeping you moored in the harbor of the present moment. Farther below the surface, the immune system is waking up, taking advantage of this downtime to patrol the corridors of the body. While you rest, these microscopic defenders are most active, repairing damage and fortifying the walls against future intruders. It is a paradox that your greatest biological defense happens when you are most vulnerable, a silent war won in the quiet of the night. Sleep is the shield that is forged in the fires of rest, The current flows without effort. As the sensory input fades, the boundaries of the body seem to soften, the distinction between the skin and the air becoming less defined. You might feel as though you are expanding, or as though the room is shrinking to fit you like a second skin. This is the dissolution of the ego's hard edges, a fluid state where you are less a discrete object and more a field of sensation. It is a returning to the ocean of being, a drop of water remembering it is part of the tide. This journey into rest is not a departure from reality, but a deeper entry into it, a connection to the fundamental truths of your biology. You are listening to the wisdom that has kept your species alive through ice ages and droughts, through storms and silence. The instincts that guide you now are the same ones that guided the first sleepers in the first caves. You are part of a long, unbroken chain of rest, a legacy of peace that belongs to you by right of birth. The vertebrae, those small and resilient bones that carry the weight of your upright life, now begin to drift apart. Throughout the day, gravity presses them together, compacting the soft cushions between them in the service of standing tall. But here, in the horizontal kingdom of the bed, that pressure evaporates, allowing the spine to elongate and the discs to drink in moisture. It is a microscopic expansion, a literal lengthening of your frame as you reclaim the space you lost to the demands of gravity. You are growing taller in the dark, stretching out into a posture of total unburdening. Your skin, the vast and sensitive boundary between you and the world, registers the texture of the sheets as a signal of continuity. This tactile input is constant and unchanging, a smooth landscape that offers no surprises to the sensory nerves waiting below the surface. Because the stimulus is predictable, the brain stops paying attention to it, a phenomenon known as habituation that clears the neural pathways. You are wrapped in a sensation that is so steady it becomes invisible, a phantom embrace that holds you without intruding on your peace. The boundary of the self becomes a soft and blurry line. The rhythm of the deep endures. Consider the instinct to seek cover, to place a roof between yourself and the open, endless sky of the night. This is not merely a preference for architecture, but a biological memory of the burrow, the cave, and the canopy. To be enclosed is to be hidden from the eyes of the predator, to be tucked away in a pocket of the earth where you cannot be seen. Your bedroom, with its walls and its ceiling, satisfies this ancient requirement for containment, allowing the amygdala, the brain's alarm system, to stand down completely. You are hidden, you are covered, and you are safe, deep. Within the chest, the chemistry of connection is being released, even in the solitude of your own rest. Oxytocin, often called the hormone of bonding, flows not just when we touch another, but when we feel warm and secure. It is the molecule of safety, a chemical reassurance that mimics the feeling of being held by the herd or the tribe. It bathes the heart in a feeling of belonging, soothing the primal fear of isolation that once meant danger on the savannah. You are accompanied by the presence of your own comfort. The heavy blanket you might have pulled over your shoulders engages the power of deep pressure stimulation, a therapy written into your nerves. The weight acts like a firm hand, stimulating the mechanoreceptors that calm the sympathetic nervous system, shifting you further into peace. It is the same principle that calms an infant when swaddled, a return to the tight, secure boundaries of the very beginning. This pressure tells the body where it ends and where the world begins, providing a physical container for your drifting consciousness. And silence follows. There is a slowing of the kinetic energy in your cells, a dampening of the vibration that defines your waking state. The mitochondria, the tiny power plants within each cell, shift their production from the high-octane fuel of movement to the slow-burning energy of repair. It is a change in frequency, a downshifting of the biological hum that usually underpins your activity. You are vibrating at the frequency of the earth itself now, a low and steady resonance that requires no effort to sustain. The internal noise quiets, matching the external stillness. Notice how the jaw unhinges slightly, letting go of the words it has formed and the expressions it has held all day. The tongue falls away from the roof of the mouth, settling into the soft floor of the jaw, widening the airway. This opening of the throat is an act of vulnerability that is only possible when you feel completely secure in your environment, It is the anatomy of trust, the physical manifestation of the belief that nothing will harm you while you are defenseless. You are breathing through a channel that is open and guarded by peace. The stillness travels through the water. Your body is composed largely of fluid, and like any body of water, it is subject to the laws of hydrodynamics and flow. In this stillness, the lymphatic system, the body's silent housekeeper, ramps up its activity, washing through the tissues of the brain. It clears away the metabolic debris of the day, the chemical byproducts of thinking and perceiving, in a process that can only happen during rest. You are being washed clean from the inside, a gentle tide scrubbing the shores of your mind while you drift. It is a nightly purification, preparing the neural soil for the new growth of tomorrow. The sensation of falling that sometimes visits you just before sleep is a sudden check-in from the vestibular system. It is a quick test of your position, a reflex that dates back to when our ancestors slept in trees and needed to ensure they wouldn't fall. When you feel it, simply acknowledge it as a guardian instinct, a brief spark of protection that quickly fades when it realizes you are supported. It is a sign that the body is letting go of its hold on the vertical world, surrendering to the horizontal. As the visual cortex goes dark, the brain begins to generate its own imagery, untethered from the light entering the eyes. These initial drifts of color and shape are hypnagogic hallucinations, the mind playing with the raw data of vision without the constraints of reality. They are harmless, beautiful drifters, the screensaver of the mind turning on as the main operating system shuts down. Watch them pass like clouds, knowing they require no interpretation, no logic, and no response. They are simply the dust of the day settling into dreams. The rhythm continues. Your hearing remains the last sentry on duty, the final sense to fully retreat from the border of the waking world. But now, it filters for danger rather than information, ignoring the steady hum of the refrigerator or the wind outside. These constant sounds are classified as safe by the brain, becoming a kind of acoustic blanket that muffles the sharper edges of silence. This predictable noise is soothing because it confirms that the environment remains stable, that the world is continuing its routine without interruption. You are lulled by the consistency of the night's soundtrack. There is a subtle shift in the pH of your blood, a chemical balancing act that occurs as your breathing rate changes. As carbon dioxide levels rise slightly with slower breaths, it encourages the release of oxygen into the tissues, a phenomenon known as the Bohr effect. Your blood is delivering its cargo more efficiently to the places that need it most, feeding the deep muscles and the organs. It is a chemistry of abundance, ensuring that every cell is nourished while the demand for energy is low. You are being fed by your own breath. Consider the mammalian diving reflex, a latent instinct that slows the heart when the face is cooled or when the breath is held. The cool side of the pillow triggers a faint echo of this reflex, signaling the body to conserve oxygen and slow the pulse. It is a submerged memory of the aquatic past, a biological trick that helps you dive deeper into the ocean of sleep. The coolness on your cheek is a command to the heart. Slow down, save your strength, drift, and the tide moves gently on. The fascia, the web of connective tissue that wraps every muscle and organ, begins to rehydrate and slide more freely. During the day, stress and stillness can make this tissue sticky and stiff, gluing the layers of you together. But as you move slightly in your sleep, and as the fluids shift, the fascia becomes fluid again, regaining its elasticity and grace. You are being oiled and loosened, the knots of the nervous system untying themselves in the bath of rest. Your internal temperature reaches its nadir, the lowest point, usually occurring a few hours before you wake, but the descent starts now. This cooling is not a loss of vitality, but a preservation of it, like a flower closing its petals against the chill of the evening. It allows the enzymes and proteins to work on tasks that require a cooler environment, a nocturnal shift of specialized workers. You are a laboratory of quiet miracles, operating most efficiently in the cool and the dark. The concept of time begins to lose its linear rigidity, dissolving into a continuous looping present moment. The part of the brain that tracks the sequence of events, the hippocampus, starts to categorize memories rather than record new ones. You are stepping out of the timeline of the clock and into the timeline of the body, which moves in circles and cycles. There is no late or early here, only the steady, rhythmic now of the breath and the beat. The quiet returns to the roots. Observe the feeling of your hands, how they naturally curl inward, the fingers seeking the palm in a gesture of release. This is the resting state of the hand, the position where the tendons are at their most neutral, holding nothing, grasping nothing. It is the physical opposite of the day's work, the opposite of the clutch and the grip that defines our interaction with tools. Your hands are empty, and in their emptiness, they are free, relieved of the burden of doing. They are simply being, resting on the mattress like fallen leaves. The vast muscular sheets of the back, the trapezius and the latissimus, spread out like wings that have been folded. They have held up the heavy structure of the head and shoulders for 16 hours, a feat of endurance we rarely acknowledge. Now, supported fully from underneath, they can surrender their tonus, the constant low-level contraction that fights gravity. You might feel a spreading warmth across the shoulder, blades as the blood flows unimpeded into these tired giants. They are finally allowed to put down the burden of the sky. Deep in the brainstem, the reticular activating system, the gatekeeper of consciousness, begins to close its doors. It stops forwarding every sensory message to the conscious mind, deciding that the itch or the distant car is not important enough to wake you. This filtering is an act of kindness, a biological secretary holding all your calls so you can rest undisturbed. The world is still there, but it has been placed on mute, its urgency stripped away by the wisdom of the filter, and the network endures. The gut-brain axis, the hotline between your digestion and your mood, quiets down, the traffic on the line thinning out. The butterflies of anxiety, which often live in the stomach, are soothed by the parasympathetic tide, their fluttering replaced by a steady calm. The vagus nerve hums a lullaby to the viscera, telling the organs that there is no tiger, no famine, no cliff. There is only the digestion of the day's nutrients and the peaceful processing of the night. Every inhalation creates a slight increase in pressure in the abdomen, a gentle massage for the internal organs. The liver, the stomach, and the intestines are rhythmically compressed and released, a motion that encourages healthy circulation. You are massaging yourself from the inside with the simple act of breathing, a constant loving touch that maintains the health of the core. It is a cradle of motion, rocking the center of you to sleep. The memories of the day are now being sorted, the gold separated from the gravel in the sifting pans of the mind. This process, known as consolidation, moves important experiences from short-term storage to the long-term library of the cortex. It is a tidy, efficient filing system that clears the desk of the mind, making space for new learning tomorrow. You do not need to hold on to the details. Your biology is archiving them for you, preserving what matters. Stillness feeds the ground. The restorative growth hormone is released in pulses now, a potent repair signal that triggers the rebuilding of tissue. It is the chemical equivalent of a construction crew arriving on a quiet site to fix the wear and tear of the day. This hormone builds bone, strengthens muscle, and repairs the skin, a fountain of youth that flows only when you are still. You are being remade in the dark, cell by cell, stronger than you were when the sun went down. Your proprioception, the sense of where your limbs are in space, begins to fade, the map of the body becoming less detailed. You might lose track of exactly where your foot is, or how your arm is bent, a pleasant blurring of the self-image. This is the body dissolving into the environment, the distinct lines of you merging with the comfort of the bed. It is a liberation from the confines of geometry, a floating state where you are everywhere and nowhere. The social brain, the part of you that tracks status and relationship and belonging, finally takes its rest. The complex calculations of who said what, of what was meant, of where you stand, are suspended in favor of a simpler truth. You are a solitary biological entity now, complete in yourself, requiring no validation from the outside world. The need to please, to perform, and to belong falls away, leaving only the pure fact of your existence. And life adjusts once more. The micro-expressions that cross your face during The day, the frowns, the squints, the polite smiles are smoothed away by the gravity of sleep. The skin relaxes its memory of emotion, returning to a blank canvas that is free of history. This physical smoothing sends a feedback signal to the brain that says, there is no emotion to process right now. You are arriving at a neutral point, a zero state of feeling that is deeply restful and profoundly calm. The eyelids, heavy and sealed, act as the final curtain, protecting the delicate moisture of the eyes. Behind them, the eyes may roll slowly upward, a reflex that disconnects them from the visual world. This specific position signals the brain that the visual channel is closed for business. You are drawing the blinds on the windows of the soul, ensuring that the light of tomorrow will find them fresh and clear. Even the heartbeat, usually a distinct thump in the chest, softens its impact, blending into the background noise of the body. It becomes a fluid wave rather than a mechanical pump, a ripple that spreads ease through the arteries. The hydraulic pressure of the blood drops, easing the workload on the vessel walls. A nightly vacation for the circulatory system. You are a quiet stream, flowing without obstacle or force. The rhythm of the deep endures. You are entering the architecture of your own ancient safety, a structure built over millions of years to hold you through the night. It is a fortress of biology, guarded by reflexes and hormones that are entirely on your side. There is nothing left to do but trust this design, to lean back into the arms of your own evolution. You are safe, you are held, and you are home. Deep in the architecture of your brain, the oscillation of your neural activity is shifting gears. The rapid, jagged beta waves that defined your focused attention during the day are smoothing out, lengthening into the calm, rolling hills of alpha waves. This is the electrical signature of relaxation, a frequency that bridges the gap between the conscious mind and the subconscious drift. You are tuning into a slower station, one where the static of the world cannot reach, and where the music of the body is the only broadcast. It is a biological lullaby, hummed by the brain to the rest of the self. There is a specific comfort in the weight of your own stillness, a realization that you do not need to move to be valid. The muscles of the legs, often tight with the readiness to run or stand, finally accept that their watch is over. They release their grip on the bones, softening into the mattress with a heaviness that feels like sinking into warm sand. This release is a chemical message sent from the motor cortex, a decree of peace that travels down the spine to the very tips of the toes, and everything softens. Consider the biological brilliance of the sigh, that spontaneous, deep breath you take just before settling in. It is not just a habit, it is a mechanical resetting of the respiratory system, popping open the tiny air sacs in the lungs called alveoli. This action ensures that the surface area for oxygen exchange is maximized, allowing for effortless breathing during the shallow tides of sleep. It is the body clearing the deck, ensuring the machinery of breath is primed for the long, slow voyage of the night. The space between your eyebrows, often furrowed with the micro-calculations of worry, begins to widen and smooth. This area is a gathering place for tension, a focal point where we physically hold our concentration. By consciously or unconsciously letting this tension dissolve, you are sending a reverse signal to the brain that there is no puzzle to solve, no threat to analyze. The smooth brow is the flag of truce raised by the face, declaring peace to the nervous system. Your body is a master of conservation, and in this state, it begins to prioritize the efficiency of its internal fluids. The saliva production slows, the mouth becoming drier, a sign that the digestive system is pausing its active phase. This drying is a subtle signal that the body is sealing itself off from intake, turning its attention entirely to processing what is already within. You are entering a closed loop of regeneration, a self-contained ecosystem of rest, and the breath holds its rhythm. Beneath the surface of the skin, the capillaries are engaged in a gentle, rhythmic dance of dilation and constriction. This vasomotion helps to move the blood without relying solely on the heart, a peripheral heart, beating in the silence of the tissues. It ensures that nutrients are delivered to the farthest reaches of your anatomy, to the skin and the nerves, without creating turbulence. You are being nourished by a gentle, invisible tide that washes through the microscopic channels of your being. The concept of letting go is often spoken of as a mental act, but it is primarily a physical one, rooted in the tone of the nerves. When you let go, you are physically lowering the threshold of excitation in your neurons, making them less reactive to noise and light. You are turning down the gain on the amplifier of your senses so that the world becomes a distant, muffled hum. It is a biological protective measure, wrapping your awareness in cotton wool. There is a distinct sensation of the body becoming heavy, a feeling that is often described as lead in the limbs. This is the result of deep muscle relaxation, where the fibers lose their residual tension and succumb entirely to gravity. It is a feeling of grounding, of being pulled lovingly toward the center of the earth. You are not falling. You are being held, secured by the fundamental force that binds the planet together. Still, the universe breathes. The pineal gland, that tiny pine cone-shaped master of time, continues to pour melatonin into your system, measuring the darkness with chemical precision. This hormone does not just make you sleepy, it acts as a powerful antioxidant, sweeping through the brain to neutralize the free radicals of the day's thinking. It is a nightly cleansing, a chemical bath that protects the delicate structures of the mind while you dream. You are being purified by the very darkness you rest in. Notice how the boundaries of yourself seem to contract, pulling inward from the walls of the room to the edges of the bed, and finally to the warmth of the skin. This retraction of scope is a safety mechanism, conserving your awareness for the internal work of healing. You no longer need to patrol the perimeter of your life. You only need to inhabit the safe harbor of your body. The world out there can wait. The world in here is attending to you. The rhythm of your blinking has stopped, the eyes resting behind their lids in a bath of restorative fluid. Without the constant friction of blinking and the demand to focus, the muscles that control the lens of the eye relax completely for the first time in 16 hours. They are returning to their resting length, recovering from the strain of seeing. Your vision is turned inward, observing the soft, shapeless dark that is full of potential, and peace lingers. The frantic urgency of time, the ticking clock, the schedule, the deadline, dissolves into the circular rhythm of biology. Your cells operate on cycles, not minutes. They know the time by the rise and fall of hormones, not by the numbers on a screen. In this state, you are stepping out of the man-made construct of time and into the eternal timeline of nature. You are syncing with the slow, patient pulse of the living world. A feeling of warmth may bloom in the solar plexus, the center of the torso, as the blood pools in the core organs. This visceral warmth is the hearth of the body, the engine room where the energy of life is maintained. It is a comforting, radiating heat that speaks of vitality and function, a signal that the fire is burning steadily and safely. You are glowing from the inside out, fueled by the quiet combustion of rest. The gentle pressure of the mattress against your back acts as a continuous feedback loop of support. It tells your proprioceptors, the sensors of position, that you are stable, that there is no risk of falling. This confirmation allows the balance centers of the inner ear to go dormant, ceasing their constant work of keeping you upright. You are liberated from the need to balance, free to float on the solid surface of the bed. The current moves, steady and slow. In the brain, the levels of adenosine, a byproduct of energy, consumption, have built up throughout the day, creating what scientists call sleep pressure. This is not a force to be fought, but a biological tide to be ridden, a chemical weight that pulls you toward the shore of sleep. It is the body's way of ensuring you do not run on empty, a benevolent governor that demands you refill the tank. You are yielding to the wise chemistry of your own fatigue, the soothing nature of repetition, the steady breath, the beating heart, begins to lull the mind into a trance state. This is the same instinct that makes us rock babies or watch the waves. We are wired to find safety in predictability. When the environment and the body are rhythmic, the brain concludes that the situation is stable and safe. You are creating your own lullaby with the simple, repetitive fact of your existence. As the external senses dim, the interoceptive senses, the feelings from inside the body, become more acute, but also more distant. You might feel the beat of your heart in your ear or the pulse in your thumb, but it feels like a distant drum. This is the separation of the observer from the observed, a gentle dissociation that allows you to witness your body without managing it. You are the passenger now, not the driver. And the quiet holds, the temperature of the room, the texture of the fabric, the faint scent of the air. All these elements are being woven into a cocoon of familiarity. Your brain is pattern matching, confirming that these sensory details match the profile of safe sleeping place. Once this match is confirmed, the alert systems are powered down completely. You are in your sanctuary, a place mapped and verified by your instincts as a zone of peace. There is a stillness in the throat, the vocal cords relaxed and open, resting from the vibrations of speech. The silence you keep now is not just an absence of words, but a recovery of the voice. By resting the instrument of communication, you are preparing it to speak your truth again tomorrow. But for now, the only sound that matters is the soft rush of air, the sound of life sustaining itself. The muscles of the lower back, often the bearers of the body's structural stress, begin to lengthen and flatten. The subtle curve of the spine relaxes into the support of the bed, releasing the tension held in the deep stabilizers. It is a physical uncoiling, a release of the readiness to stand and deliver. You are laying down the burden of gravity, letting the earth carry the weight of your frame. Quietly, the system restores itself. Your dreams are waiting in the wings, constructed from the fragments of the day and the deep archetypes of the species. They are the mind's way of digesting experience, of running simulations in the safety of paralysis. This upcoming theater is a sign of a healthy mind, a nightly sorting of the soul's mail. You are approaching the threshold of this inner cinema, where the stories are written by your own biology. The faint, rhythmic sound of your breathing acts as a metronome for your entire physiology. The heart rate entrains to it, speeding up slightly on the inhale and slowing on the exhale, a phenomenon called respiratory sinus arrhythmia. This variability is a hallmark of a flexible, resilient nervous system. You are conducting an orchestra of one, your breath the baton that sets the tempo for peace. The sensation of time stretching out is a sign that the brain is switching from serial processing, one thing after another, to parallel processing. You are moving into a state where logic is less important than feeling, where the strict sequence of cause and effect softens. It is a drift into the intuitive, the oceanic mind that knows without needing to explain. You are floating in the vast, timeless water of the subconscious, and everything rests, even the hair on your skin. The tiny sensors that can detect a breeze or a bug, settles into stillness. The piloerector muscles, which cause goosebumps in fear or cold, are fully relaxed. This smoothness of the skin is a biological testament to your comfort. There is no need to make yourself bigger or warmer. You are perfectly adapted to this moment, exactly as you are. The metabolic fires are banked, the body temperature regulated to a precise, energy-saving level. It is the efficiency of a machine that knows it will not be used for some time, cooling down to preserve the integrity of its parts. This cooling is a mercy to the tissues, slowing the rate of cellular aging. And where? You are preserving yourself in the amber of sleep. You are drifting through the layers of your own biology, descending from the high alert of the surface to the crushing, beautiful pressure of the deep. It is a dive into the origins of you, back to the cellular silence where life began. There is no destination other than this moment, no goal other than this breath. You are safe, you are whole, and you are drifting. The architecture of your sleep is built upon a foundation of ancient trust, a silent agreement between the organism and the environment. When you lie still, you are enacting a ritual that has been performed by every vertebrate that has ever lived, a surrender to the vulnerability of the night. This continuity connects you to the first creatures who sought the safety of the burrow, finding protection in the embrace of the earth. You are not just resting in a bed, you are taking your place in the long, unbroken history of life seeking shelter. Deep within the limbic system, the emotional center of the brain, the constant scanning for threats begins to dissolve into a hum of neutrality. This part of you, which is always asking, "Am I safe?" finally receives the answer it has been waiting for. Yes. The absence of sudden noise, the warmth of the covers, and the steadiness of the ground all conspire to convince the amygdala that the watch is over. It is a profound chemical exhaling, a laying down of the emotional shield that you carry through the daylight hours. The current flows without effort. Consider the microscopic gates within your cells, the ion channels that control the flow of electricity and communication. As the demand for action drops, these gates close or slow their traffic, allowing the delicate balance of sodium and potassium to stabilize. It is a quieting of the electrical storm, a reduction in the voltage that drives the machinery of thought and movement. You are becoming electrically quieter, a dimming of the biological lights that saves energy for the essential work of maintenance. The skeleton, the rigid framework that defines your shape against gravity, finds a rare moment of total unloading. The constant compression of walking and sitting is lifted, allowing the fluids in the joints to replenish and the cartilage to expand. There is a silent sigh from the bones themselves as they are relieved of their duty to hold you up. In this weightlessness, the structure of the body forgets the burden of the vertical world, remembering instead the freedom of the float, and silence follows. You are entering a state where the brain begins to prune the synaptic connections that are no longer needed, a neurological tidying called synaptic pruning. It is a gentle erasing of the trivial, the clearing away of the mental clutter accumulated during the day's interactions. This process ensures that your mind remains efficient and spacious, preventing the overload of information. You are being curated in your sleep, the essential memories strengthened and the noise quietly swept away. The warmth that gathers in your hands and feet is a deliberate biological strategy, a widening of the distal vessels to shed core heat. This is the body adjusting its own thermostat, dumping the excess thermal energy to reach the ideal temperature for hibernation. It is a comforting physics, the sensation of the extremities glowing with blood flow as the inner fire banks down. You are balancing your own atmosphere, creating a microclimate of perfect restorative cool. The rhythm of the deep endures. There is a soothing monotony to the dark, a lack of visual data that allows the visual cortex to idle. Without the constant stream of images to process, the brain's energy is redirected to the internal landscape, to the systems that run in the background. It is like a great city turning off its billboards at night, saving the power for the streetlights and the subways. The screen of the mind goes blank, not with emptiness, but with the restful potential of the void. Your blood itself changes its character slightly, its viscosity altering as the flow dynamics shift in the horizontal position. It moves with a laminar flow, smooth and streamlined, avoiding the turbulence that comes with high blood pressure and stress. This gentle river feeds the tissues with a steady, low-pressure perfusion, washing over the cells like a slow tide. You are circulating peace, the very fluid of your life moving with the grace of a calm stream, and everything softens. The sound of your own breathing becomes a form of white noise, a consistent, rhythmic signal that masks the inconsistencies of the world. This auditory loop is self-soothing, a reminder that the most important function of life, the breath, is happening automatically. You do not need to command the air to enter or leave. It moves according to the laws of pressure and biological need. You are the vessel for this movement, a quiet harbor where the wind of life fills the sails. The tone of the vagus nerve increases, sending a powerful signal of rest and digest to every organ in the chest and abdomen. This nerve is the superhighway of calm, and when it is active, it physically prevents the heart from racing and the stomach from churning. It is a biological brake cable that is pulled gently but firmly, keeping the engine of the body at a safe, low idle. You are under the protection of your own parasympathetic nervous system. Stillness travels through the water. There is a freedom in the anonymity of sleep, a release from the social roles and expectations that define your waking hours. In the dark, you are not a worker, a partner, or a parent. You are simply a biological entity existing in peace. This shedding of identity is a profound rest for the frontal lobes, the part of the brain that manages your social self. You are allowed to just be, without the need to present a face to the world. The connective tissues, the fascia that wraps every muscle fiber, begin to drink in the interstitial fluid, becoming slick and hydrated. During the day, stress can dry these tissues out, making them stiff and brittle like dried sponges. But in the movement of the breath and the stillness of the body, they soak up moisture, regaining their slide and glide. You are being lubricated from the inside, preparing for the fluid motion of the coming day. The cycle continues. Hormones of hunger and satiety, ghrelin and leptin, are recalibrating in the silence, resetting the body's sense of need. Sleep is the regulator of appetite, the balance scale that decides how much energy you will require tomorrow. By resting now, you are ensuring that your metabolic requests will be accurate and healthy when you wake. You are feeding the regulatory systems with the nutrient of time, allowing them to find their equilibrium. The sensation of drifting is the result of the brain loosening its tight coupling with the sensory inputs of the body. You are untethering from the strict coordinates of the physical world, floating in a space that has no north or south. This decoupling is a safety feature, preventing you from acting out your dreams or reacting to every minor stimulus. You are a ship that has slipped its moorings, drifting safely in the center of a calm lagoon, and peace hums through the body. The pigment in your eyes, rhodopsin or visual purple, is regenerating in the darkness behind your lids. This light-sensitive chemical is bleached out by the brightness of the day and can only be restored in the absence of light. You are literally recovering your capacity to see, rebuilding the molecular tools of vision while you rest. The darkness is not just a lack of light, it is the necessary ingredient for the restoration of sight. The amygdala, the brain's alarm bell, cools down significantly, its metabolic activity dropping to a baseline hum. It stops looking for danger in the shadows, accepting the safety of the bedroom as a verified fact. This thermal and electrical cooling allows the emotional brain to reset, washing away the reactivity of the day. You are clearing the slate of fear, making room for the calm appraisal of a new morning. And the tide moves gently on. The circadian rhythm, the great internal clock, is ticking slowly in the background, synchronized with the rotation of the planet. It orchestrates the release of enzymes and hormones in a perfect time-release sequence that requires no conscious management. You are a timepiece wound by the sun and the moon, your biology ticking in harmony with the cosmos. To sleep is to keep time with the universe, to be in step with the grandest rhythm of all. The instinct to curl up, to bring the limbs closer to the center, is a protective reflex that guards the vital organs. Even if you sprawl, the subtle contraction of the flexor muscles offers a sense of holding oneself, of being self-contained. It is a posture that says, I am whole, protecting the soft core of the body with the strength of the back and limbs. You are your own shield, wrapped around the precious center of life. The quiet returns to the roots. The inner critic, the voice that judges and evaluates, finally falls silent as the prefrontal cortex reduces its activity. There is no one left to grade your performance, no one to analyze your mistakes or plan your improvements. There is only the simple biological fact of your existence, which requires no justification. You are enough simply because you are here, breathing and resting in the dark. The deep muscles of the neck, the scalenes, and the suboccipitals release their hold on the heavy sphere of the head. For the first time, the head is fully supported by the pillow, requiring zero effort to maintain its position. This release travels down the spine, a wave of unclenching that lengthens the neck and drops the shoulders. You are putting down the weight of the mind, letting the physical support of the bed carry the center of your thought, and the network endures. You are approaching the threshold of non-rapid eye movement sleep, the deep, dreamless ocean where the brain waves slow to a delta rhythm. This is the restorative floor of the sleep cycle, the place where the most profound healing occurs. It is a void of pure rest, a place without narrative or image, where the self is simply a seed waiting in the dark. You are sinking towards the most ancient and regenerative part of the night. Trust the autopilot of your biology. It has flown this route thousands of times before, guiding you safely to the morning. There is no need to touch the controls, no need to check the map or watch the horizon. The instincts that govern your sleep are older than your thoughts, wiser than your worries, and stronger than your fatigue. You are held in the confident, capable hands of your own nature, and life adjusts once more. Deep within the microscopic fortifications of your body, the immune system is seizing the opportunity of your stillness to begin its most important work. Without the energy demands of movement and thought, the body reallocates its resources to the production of cytokines, the proteins that fight infection and inflammation. It is a nightly changing of the guard, where the defenders of your health patrol the quiet corridors of the blood, repairing the wear of the day. You are being fortified in the dark, your resilience being woven thread by thread while you sleep, preparing you to face the world with renewed strength. The instinct to cover yourself, to pull the sheet up to the chin, is more than a reaction to temperature. It is a behavioral memory of the nest. By covering the vital areas of the throat and the chest, you are satisfying a primal urge to protect the most vulnerable parts of your anatomy. This sensation of being enveloped acts as a tactile signal to the brain that the perimeter is secure, that you are shielded from the elements and the eyes of others. It is the physical manifestation of safety, a soft barrier between the self and the void. The silence widens its reach. Consider the glymphatic system, a network of vessels that only opens wide when the brain is asleep, acting as a cleansing tide for the mind. As you rest, the cerebrospinal fluid rushes through the brain tissue, washing away the metabolic waste proteins that accumulate during waking hours. It is a literal brainwashing in the most benevolent sense, a hydraulic clearing of the neural pathways that leaves them fresh and unobstructed. You are being rinsed clean by the gentle, rhythmic pulse of your own fluids, a nightly purification ritual that ensures clarity. The position of your head on the pillow aligns the cervical spine, allowing the complex bundle of nerves that travel to the brainstem to relax. This alignment is crucial as it prevents the compression of the delicate communication lines between the body and the brain. When the neck is supported and the tension dissolves, the signals of pain or discomfort are silenced, leaving only the quiet hum of existence. You are unkinking the hose of the nervous system, allowing the information of peace to flow without resistance, and the pulse slows down. There is a profound biological comfort in the predictability of your environment, the knowledge that the ground beneath you will not move. Your vestibular system, the inner ear's balance center, relies on this stability to calibrate itself for the next day. In the absence of motion, the fluid in the semicircular canals settles, stopping the constant feedback loop of adjustment and correction. You are anchored in a harbor that does not rock, allowing the gyroscope of the body to finally come to a complete rest. The gentle, repetitive sound of the breath mimics the most soothing sounds in nature: the wash of the tide, the rustle of wind, the flow of a river. We are drawn to these white noises because they mask the sudden, sharp sounds that might signal danger, creating an acoustic blanket of safety. By listening to your own respiration, you are tuning into a frequency that has lulled humans to sleep for millennia. It is the soundtrack of survival, the steady proof that life is continuing effortlessly. Stillness feeds the dark. Your skin, the largest organ of perception, begins to lose its discriminatory sharpness, the distinct feeling of the sheets blending into a general sense of warmth. The nerve endings that usually report on texture and pressure reduce their firing rate, a process called sensory adaptation. You are no longer feeling the bed, you are merging with it, the boundary between the dreamer and the nest becoming pleasantly indistinct. It is a softening of the edges of the self, a gentle dissolution into comfort. The cellular division within your body, the process of mitosis, accelerates during these hours of rest, driven by the circadian clock. The skin, the gut lining, and the blood cells are renewing themselves at a rate far faster than during the day. You are literally growing new life within you, replacing the old and the worn with the fresh and the strong. It is a silent regeneration, a nightly rebirth that happens without your effort or your permission. The deep rhythm takes hold. The concept of letting down your guard is physically enacted by the relaxation of the trapezius muscles, which often hunch up in a defensive posture. When these muscles drop, the shoulders fall away from the ears, exposing the neck in a gesture of ultimate trust. To sleep is to expose the throat to the dark, a biological declaration that you believe you are safe from harm. It is the ultimate act of faith in your environment, a surrender of the armor we wear against the world. Inside the brain, the thalamus acts as a dedicated gatekeeper, deciding which sensory information is allowed to reach the conscious mind. As you drift deeper, this gatekeeper becomes more selective, blocking the signals of sound and touch from waking you up. It creates a private internal space where the mind can wander without interruption, a sanctuary guarded by your own neurology. You are protected from the intrusion of the trivial, allowed to remain in the deep waters of rest, and the quiet deepens. The hormones that regulate water balance, such as vasopressin, are released to ensure you can sleep through the night without dehydration. This chemical management allows the kidneys to concentrate the urine, preserving the body's precious fluids for the work of repair. It is a sophisticated conservation strategy, ensuring that the hydration you have is used efficiently to maintain the volume of the blood. You are a self-contained reservoir, managing your resources with quiet wisdom. The heaviness of the eyelids is a protective mechanism, a physical shutter that keeps the cornea moist and the light out. But it is also a signal to the social world that you are offline, that you have withdrawn from the exchange of glances and expressions. By closing your eyes, you are signaling a temporary retirement from the visual contract of society. You are no longer a witness to the world, nor an object to be seen, but a private consciousness turning inward. The current flows without effort. There is a soothing coolness that spreads through the brain as the metabolism slows, a reduction in the thermal noise of thinking. Just as an engine cools down after a long journey, the neural networks shed their excess heat, protecting the delicate synapses from thermal stress. This cooling is essential for the consolidation of memory, a freezing of the day's lessons into the hard drive of the mind. You are cooling to preserve, lowering the temperature to set the memories in stone. The reflex to seek a corner or a wall when sleeping is a vestige of the need to protect the back, to ensure that no threat can approach unseen. Even in a secure room, the presence of a headboard or a wall provides a psychological anchor, a solid surface that says, "Here ends the world." It is a geometric comfort, a reduction of the angles of exposure. You are placing yourself in a position of maximum defense, so that you may enjoy maximum peace. And everything rests. The enteric nervous system, the complex network of neurons lining your digestive tract, synchronizes its rhythm with the brain. The butterflies of stress and the tightness of anxiety are replaced by a slow, rhythmic peristalsis, the housekeeping wave of the gut. This internal harmony sends a powerful signal of well-being to the brain, confirming that the core is calm. You are at peace from the center outwards, a concentric ripple of relaxation. The production of ATP, the energy currency of the cell, surges during sleep, restocking the batteries that were drained during the day. This surge happens primarily in the silence of the night, when the demand for immediate energy is low. You are recharging on a molecular level, filling the reserves that will power your thoughts and movements tomorrow. It is a quiet banking of power, a gathering of strength in the stillness. Still, the universe breathes. Notice the absence of the startle response, the reflex that makes you jump at sudden noises. As the nervous system dampens, the threshold for this reflex is raised high, requiring a much louder stimulus to trigger a reaction. This dampening is a mercy, smoothing over the cracks and pops of the night so they do not disturb your drift. You are wrapped in a buffer of biological tolerance, allowing the small disturbances to pass unnoticed. The sensation of floating, which often accompanies the onset of sleep, is a release from the constant calculation of gravity. The brain stops constantly updating its verticality, allowing the internal gyroscope to drift into a pleasurable ambiguity. You are neither up nor down, but suspended in the medium of rest, like a diver neutrally buoyant in the deep. It is a freedom from the vector of weight, a liberation from the heavy earth. The rhythm continues. The muscles of the face, particularly around the mouth and eyes, lose their tone completely, erasing the mask of social engagement. This facial stillness feeds back into the emotional centers of the brain, reinforcing the feeling of calm. If you cannot frown, it is harder to feel worry. If you cannot squint, it is harder to feel scrutiny. You are physically enacting the expression of peace, and the mind follows the lead of the muscles. The memory of the ocean is carried in the saline balance of your blood, a ratio of salt and water that mimics the primordial seas. In sleep, this inner ocean is calm, the tides of pressure and flow moving with a gentle regularity. You are containing a vast, quiet sea within your skin, a personal nervous system of water that conducts the signals of sleep. You are resting in the fluid legacy of your own evolution, and peace lingers. The body's ability to regulate its own temperature becomes slightly less rigid, allowing for a comfortable drift in thermal sensation. This relaxation of the thermostat prevents the body from fighting every minor fluctuation in the room, saving energy. You are becoming more adaptable, flowing with the environment rather than resisting it. It is a biological surrender to the atmosphere, a harmony with the air around you. The integration of the day's emotions happens now, the sorting of feelings into the narrative of your life. This emotional processing takes the sting out of painful memories and highlights the warmth of the good ones. It is a nightly therapy session conducted by your own brain, helping you wake up with a clearer heart. You are healing the emotional bruises of the day, applying the balm of rest to the psyche. The tide moves gently on. The subtle vibration of the chest with every heartbeat sends a continuous, rhythmic shockwave through the torso. In the silence, this vibration becomes a comforting massage for the internal organs, a steady reminder of life's continuity. You are being rocked from the inside, a cradle motion generated by your own pulse. It is the first rhythm you ever knew, and it remains the most comforting. The visual purple in the retina is fully restored, preparing your eyes to greet the light of the new day with sensitivity. This chemical regeneration can only happen in the dark, a requirement that forces us to close our eyes and rest. We are mandated by our own biology to seek the shadow in order to see the light. You are actively building the capacity for tomorrow's vision, and the quiet holds. The sense of time passing dissolves into a singular, elongated moment, a deep now that stretches for hours. This timelessness is a relief to the mind that is always scheduling and planning, a break from the tyranny of the clock. In the landscape of sleep, there are no deadlines, only the cycles of the breath and the blood. You are stepping out of the stream of time and sitting on the bank. The connection between the intention to move and the muscles is temporarily severed, a state called atonia. This paralysis is a safety lock, preventing you from acting out the movements of your dreams. It is the body protecting itself from the mind's adventures, ensuring that while the spirit flies, the vessel remains safe in the harbor. You are anchored by your own biology, held fast while the mind explores. Quietly, the system restores itself. The bones themselves, often thought of as inert stone, are teeming with activity, the marrow producing millions of new blood cells. This factory of life works best in the quiet, when the resources of the body are not being diverted to the muscles. You are a silent forge, creating the very substance of your vitality while you lie still. It is a testament to the productivity of rest, the active nature of doing nothing. Even the spacing of your thoughts increases, the gaps between ideas becoming longer and more spacious. The frantic train of association slows down, allowing for pauses where there is simply nothing. No image, no word, no worry. These gaps are the windows of the soul, opening onto the vista of pure peace. You are finding the space between the notes, the silence that makes the music possible, and the network endures. You are resting in the certainty of your own design, a blueprint that has been refined over eons to ensure your recovery. Every shiver, every yawn, every heaviness of the eyelid is a functioning part of this perfect system. You do not need to understand the science to receive the benefit. You only need to yield to it. You are the beneficiary of 1 billion years of wisdom, sleeping in the safety of your own skin. The sensation of sinking deeper into the mattress is not a collapse, but a specific biological embrace of gravity. Throughout the daylight hours, your vestibular system fights to keep you upright, constantly calculating the vertical. Now, that calculation stops, and the signals from the inner ear become quiet and steady. You're aligning yourself with the pull of the planet, no longer resisting the fundamental force that holds the world together. It is a harmonious agreement between your mass and the Earth's center, a stable equilibrium that requires no effort to maintain. There is a distinct lack of predator cues in your environment, a silence that speaks volumes to your primitive brain. In the wild, sudden silence can be a warning, but the steady, rhythmic quiet of a safe room is a signal of peace. Your auditory cortex recognizes the hum of the air and the settling of the house as the soundtrack of safety. This recognition lowers the threshold of your startle reflex, allowing you to drift without the need to keep one ear open. You are listening to the sound of nothing happening, and it is the sweetest sound of all, and the body remembers. The gradient of temperature from your core to your skin shifts, a subtle redistribution of heat that mimics the setting sun. Your hands and feet act as thermal windows, opening wide to release the day's accumulated warmth into the cool air. This venting of heat triggers the sleep-promoting neurons in the brain, a direct link between feeling cool and feeling tired. You are physically cooling down the engine, allowing the machinery of the body to enter its maintenance cycle. Trust is a physiological state, a relaxation of the defensive tension in the gut and the chest. When you trust your environment, the vagus nerve sends a cascade of calming neurotransmitters to the heart, slowing its beat. This is the biology of surrender, the chemical proof that you feel secure enough to close your eyes. You are not just hoping for safety, your cells are tasting it in the chemistry of your blood. The silence keeps its watch. The migrating motor complex, a slow wave of contraction in the stomach and intestines, begins its nightly housekeeping sweep. This is not the churning of digestion, but a gentle cleaning cycle that moves residual debris through the system. It happens only when the gut is empty and the body is at rest, a silent janitor working while the building is closed. You are being prepared for the nourishment of the future by the clearing of the past. Your brain waves are lengthening, moving from the choppy waters of alert beta frequencies to the rolling swells of theta. This shift is the bridge between the waking world and the dream world, a borderland of creativity and loose association. In this state, the rigid structures of logic dissolve, replaced by the fluid connections of the subconscious. You are surfing the low frequencies of the mind, drifting toward the deep ocean of delta, and the drift continues. The immune system is not just repairing, it is remembering, cataloging the encounters of the day to build future immunity. T cells are analyzing the chemical signatures of what they have met, storing this information in the biological library of your defense system. This immunological memory is consolidated during sleep, ensuring that you wake up wiser and more resilient than before. You are learning on a cellular level, gaining strength from the silent study of the night. The hormone vasopressin rises quietly in the bloodstream, a subtle signal to the kidneys to conserve water. This ensures that you can lie still for 8 hours without the urgent need to rise, a chemical permission to remain undisturbed. It is a thoughtful adaptation, prioritizing your rest over the constant maintenance of fluid balance. You are a closed loop, self-sustaining and efficient, requiring nothing from the outside world for this span of time. Peace widens its circle. The edges of your identity, the sharp definitions of your name and your history, begin to blur in the comfort of the dark. You are returning to a pre-verbal state, where you are simply a living creature, breathing and warm. This shedding of the ego is a relief to the frontal cortex, which spends the day constructing the story of who you are. Now, the story is paused, and the storyteller sleeps, leaving only the pure fact of existence. The intervertebral discs, the shock absorbers of the spine, soak up fluid from the surrounding tissues like thirsty sponges. Unburdened by the weight of the head and shoulders, they expand, pushing the vertebrae slightly apart. This nightly decompression is the reason you are slightly taller in the morning, a literal physical growth that happens in the shadows. You are stretching out. The compression of the day, reclaiming your full stature. The calm remains unbroken. A spontaneous deep breath, a variation of the sigh, resets the mechanical compliance of the ribcage. It stretches the intercostal muscles and opens the chest wall, ensuring that the lungs have ample room to inflate. This mechanical resetting prevents the stiffness that comes from shallow breathing, keeping the bellows of the breath flexible. You are maintaining the elasticity of life with every deep, unplanned inhalation. The darkness of the room is not empty. It is a catalyst for the production of melatonin, the hormone of darkness. This molecule travels to every cell, acting as a synchronizer that tells the entire body what time it is. It aligns the liver, the heart, and the lungs with the rotation of the earth, creating a unified biological rhythm. You are being tuned by the dark, brought into harmony with the great cycle of the night. Softly, the work is done. There is an evolutionary echo in the feeling of being alone but safe, a memory of the times when the tribe slept close by. Even if you are solitary in the room, the comfort you feel is a vestige of the safety found in numbers. The brain interprets the warmth and the shelter as signs that the herd is secure, allowing you to lower your individual guard. You are protected by the phantom presence of your ancestors, who learned how to rest together. The filtration rate of the kidneys slows down, a deliberate reduction in the processing speed of the body's waste management. This slowing matches the drop in blood pressure, a coordinated downshift that saves energy and protects the delicate filters. It is a nightly truce with the metabolic byproducts, a decision to deal with them slowly and gently. You are operating at a pace of kindness to your own organs, and the silence holds. The reservoirs of neurotransmitters, the chemical messengers that allow your neurons to talk to each other, are being refilled. During the day, these wells are drawn down by the constant demand of thinking and reacting. Now, the enzymes are busy synthesizing new supplies, restocking the shelves for the coming morning. You are replenishing the very substance of your thoughts, ensuring clarity for the day to come. The muscles of the jaw, often a warehouse for unspoken words and held tension, finally fall slack. This release unblocks the pathways of the nerves that run through the face and neck, improving blood flow to the brain. The softening of the mouth is a physical declaration that there is nothing left to say, nothing left to bite or hold. You are letting go of the need to control the conversation, finding peace in the quiet. The rhythm of the deep returns. That sudden jerk you sometimes feel, the hypnic jerk, is merely a quick system check from the motor nerves. It is a harmless spark, a fleeting question from the brain asking, "Are we stable?" The immediate return to stillness is the body's answer. Yes, we are. Supported. It is a brief ripple that proves the calmness of the water, a fading echo of the transition into sleep. The weight of the blankets provides a continuous, reassuring tactile input, similar to a firm hug. This pressure stimulates the release of serotonin, the precursor to melatonin, creating a chemical loop of relaxation. It is a physical containment that helps the brain understand the boundaries of the body and space. You are held together by the gentle heaviness of your covering, secured in your place of rest, and everything settles. The core body temperature continues its slow, deliberate descent, banking the metabolic fire to a smolder. This cooling protects the brain, slowing the chemical reactions that cause cellular wear and tear. It is a state of metabolic conservation, where the body does more with less, preserving its fuel. You are hibernating for the night, entering a state of efficient, cool preservation. Your sense of smell, usually a keen sentry for smoke or danger, becomes less sensitive, tuning out the background odors of the house. This sensory gating prevents the brain from being alerted by the scent of dinner or dust, keeping the alarm bells silent. The air you breathe is neutral, a clean slate that carries only the oxygen you need. You are inhaling peace, filtering out the noise of the senses, and the night waits. There is a silent autonomy to your cells, a microscopic independence that does not require your supervision. Each one of the trillions of units that make up your body carries a complete set of instructions for the night, a genetic manual for restoration. They do not wait for a command from the conscious mind to begin their work. They simply recognize the signal of the dark and the stillness. You are a vast, cooperative colony of life, and tonight, every citizen of that colony is working in harmony toward a single goal: your renewal. Deep within the nucleus of your cells, the strands of DNA are being scanned for the minor errors that occur during the friction of living. Special enzymes glide along the double helix like repair crews on a track, identifying and fixing the tiny breaks and mismatches. This molecular maintenance, known as nucleotide excision repair, peaks during the night, ensuring that the blueprint of your body remains intact. You are literally being rewritten and corrected while you sleep, the errors of the day smoothed over by the wisdom of your chemistry. The quiet pulse remains. The muscles of the middle ear, the tensor tympani and stapedius, relax their tension, dampening the sensitivity of the eardrum. This physiological adjustment acts as a volume knob being turned down, reducing the transmission of sound to the inner ear. It is a biological earplug, a way for the body to filter out the trivial noises of the house so that the mind can focus on the silence. You are tuning out the external frequency to tune into the internal rhythm. Consider the gamma loop, the feedback mechanism that keeps your muscles ready for action. In the waking state, this loop is tight and reactive, holding a certain amount of tension just in case you need to move quickly. But now, the brainstem inhibits this loop, cutting the signal that demands readiness. The muscles lose their expectation of movement, dissolving into a state of true neutrality. It is the physical sensation of dead weight, which is actually the feeling of total safety. And the cycle holds. The ancient memory of the cave is present in the way you seek the center of the bed, away from the edges where the draft might catch you. This centering is a behavioral instinct, a positioning of the self in the most protected part of the shelter. By placing yourself in the middle of the soft terrain, you are maximizing the buffer zone between you and the world. It is a geography of comfort, a mapping of safety onto the landscape of the mattress. The balance of fluids and pressure is managed by the renin-angiotensin system, a hormonal cascade that works quietly in the background. As you lie flat, this system adjusts the tension in the blood vessels, ensuring that pressure is maintained without the help of gravity. It is a delicate hydraulic balancing act, performed with the precision of a master engineer. You are a vessel of perfectly regulated flow, the pressure dropping to a level of calm efficiency. Stillness keeps its place. Your dreams, when they come, are the result of the brain's emotional thermostat. Adjusting itself, the limbic system is active, replaying the feelings of the day in a safe, disconnected environment, stripping them of their sharp edges. This processing allows you to wake up with a new perspective, the emotional intensity of yesterday having been metabolized by the dream. You are digesting your experiences, turning the raw material of life into the nutrients of wisdom. The heart rate reaches its nightly nadir, the lowest valley of its daily journey, beating with a slow, powerful efficiency. This slow rhythm allows the coronary arteries to fill completely, feeding the heart muscle itself with oxygen-rich blood. It is the heart taking care of itself, a moment of self-love for the engine that loves you every second of the day. You are resting the very center of your vitality, allowing it to gather strength for the beats to come. The gentle weight returns. The lipid barrier of your skin, the oil that keeps moisture in and bacteria out, is replenished most actively. During these hours, the sebaceous glands secrete their protective layer, sealing the surface of the body against the drying effects of the air. This natural waterproofing is essential for the health of the skin, a nightly recoating of the castle walls. You are being wrapped in a microscopic shield of your own making, preserved in the softness of your own biology. There is a shift in the nature of your consciousness, a move from being the actor to being the environment. You are no longer the person doing the sleeping. You are the sleep itself, the space in which the rest is happening. This expansion of identity is a relief from the confines of the ego, emerging with the process of life. You are the breath, the warmth, and the dark, all at once, and peace flows on. The microbiome, the vast ecosystem of bacteria living in your gut, has its own circadian rhythm. syncing its activity with yours. These microscopic partners are busy processing the fibers you ate, producing vitamins and signaling molecules that help you sleep. It is a symbiotic relationship, a partnership of peace where your rest benefits them and their work benefits you. You are never truly alone. You are a host to a universe of helpful life. The pulsatile release of growth hormone occurs in waves, timed perfectly with the stages of deep sleep. These pulses are the signals for tissue growth and repair, the chemical orders to build and strengthen. It is a rhythmic construction project, ensuring that the body you wake up with is stronger than the body you went to bed with. You are growing in the silence, expanding your capacity for life. The dark holds the rhythm. The sensation of heaviness in the limbs is not a burden, but a grounding, a confirmation that you are held by the earth. It is the feeling of the muscles surrendering their potential energy, releasing the stored tension into the mattress. This heaviness is the physical opposite of anxiety, which is light, flighty, and tense. To feel heavy is to feel safe, to be anchored in the reality of the present moment. The frontal lobe, the CEO of the brain responsible for planning and judging, finally clocks out for the night. The constant simulation of future scenarios stops, the what-ifs fading into the silence of what is. This cessation of planning is a profound rest, a liberation from the burden of the future. You are living entirely in the now, suspended in a moment that does not look forward or back. Slowly, the anchor settles. The thermal synchronization between your body and the room reaches a steady state, a comfortable equilibrium. You are no longer fighting the temperature, but existing within it, your skin finding the perfect balance with the air. It is a harmony of heat, a physical agreement between the organism and the environment. You are one with the atmosphere, a part of the climate of the room. The reliability of your breath is governed by the brainstem, the most ancient and robust part of your nervous system. It does not forget, it does not get distracted, and it does not tire. You can abandon all control over your respiration, knowing that this primitive guardian will keep the rhythm perfect. You are breathing the air of trust, inhaling the certainty of your own survival. The silence endures. The fatigue of decision-making, which wears down the willpower during the day, is washed away by the chemicals of rest. The neurotransmitter glutamate, which can build up to toxic levels with too much thinking, is cleared from the synapses. This clearing restores the brain's ability to signal cleanly, removing the static of exhaustion. You are being reset to a state of clarity, the mental slate wiped clean. Your metabolism enters a state of uncoupling, where the energy production is slightly less efficient in favor of generating heat. This subtle metabolic shift ensures that you stay warm enough even as your core temperature drops. It is a biological heater running on a low, steady setting, keeping the vital flame alive. You are burning the fuel of peace to keep the winter of the night at bay, and everything slows. There is a continuity to your existence that persists even when you are not aware of it, a thread of self that remains unbroken by sleep. You do not cease to be when you close your eyes. You simply change the mode of your being. This trust in the continuity of the self is what allows us to let go, knowing we will be there to greet ourselves in the morning. You are the constant in the equation of the night. You are descending now into the deepest troughs of the delta waves, the slow, high-amplitude signals of profound slumber. These waves are the ocean swell of the brain, massive and rhythmic, washing over the entire cortex. In this state, the healing is absolute, the mind completely disengaged from the external world. You are in the safest place you can possibly be, held in the cradle of the deep brain. The deep rhythm takes over. The sensory inputs that usually stream into the brain, the light and the sound and the touch, have now trickled to a halt. The thalamus has effectively sealed the doors to the throne room of the mind, ensuring that the silence is absolute. This isolation is not a deprivation, but a protection, a guarding of the sanctuary where the mind repairs itself. You are safely enclosed within the fortress of your own skull, protected by the biological drawbridge that has been raised for the night. Your breathing has settled into a cadence so steady it could set a clock, a rhythm that requires no conscious thought to maintain. It is the breath of the sleeper, a specific pattern of inhalation and exhalation that signals to any observer that you are at peace. This rhythm is the fundamental frequency of your life, a wave that has been rising and falling since your first moment. You are riding this wave now, letting it carry you further away from the shore of the day, and the quiet remains. The muscles of the inner ear, which tends to focus on specific sounds, have gone completely slack. There is no longer a need to distinguish between the meaningful and the meaningless. All sound is simply vibration in the air. This relaxation allows the auditory world to become a blur, a soft background texture that wraps around you. You are no longer a listener, but a part of the silence itself. Deep in the bone marrow, the production of immune cells continues in the dark, a silent factory of health that never closes. These new cells are born in the quiet, ready to defend you when the sun returns. But for now, they simply wait in the reserve. It is a promise of future strength, a biological optimism that assumes there will be a tomorrow. You are building the armor of the future while you rest in the safety of the present. The current flows deeply and slow. The sensation of the body has become a singular, unified warmth, a feeling of existence without boundaries. The distinction between the arm and the sheet, or the head and the pillow, has dissolved into a general sense of comfort. This integration is the physical feeling of wholeness, where the parts are forgotten in favor of the whole. You are simply one continuous field of life, resting in the center of the night. The memory of the day has been filed away, the emotions processed, the lessons learned, and the books closed. There is nothing left to review, nothing left to plan, and nothing left to solve. The desk of the mind is clear, the surface, smooth and empty, waiting for the fresh light of a new beginning. But that beginning is hours away. For now, the emptiness is the destination, and the night holds its shape. You are resting in the care of a system that has kept your ancestors alive through every night of history. The same biological laws that governed the sleep of the first humans are governing yours right now, a lineage of rest that remains unbroken. You are not alone in this dark. You are accompanied by the wisdom of the species, held by the same gravity that holds the stars. The safety you feel is the safety of belonging to the earth. The heart continues its loyal beat, a soft drum in the deep cavity of the chest, counting the moments of peace. It does not rush, it does not falter, it simply persists, driven by an internal spark that is independent of your will. This autonomy is the ultimate comfort, the knowledge that the core of you knows exactly what to do. You are free to let go, because the heart holds on. Everything rests in its place. The darkness behind your eyes is no longer a screen for thoughts, but a velvet curtain that has fallen on the stage. The show is over, the audience has left, and the theater is quiet. There is a profound peace in this closure, a permission to stop performing and simply be. You are the quiet theater, the empty stage, and the peaceful dark. Your body has become a heavy, warm anchor, settled deep into the harbor of the bed. The chains of gravity are short and secure, keeping you from drifting into the turbulence of the waking world. You are moored in the safest bay of the night, protected from the wind and the waves. The storm of activity is over. The calm of the water is all that remains. The rhythm is complete. As you drift on the edge of the final descent, know that the machinery of your body is watching over you with infinite care. Every breath is a promise kept, every heartbeat a guardian at the gate. You have done the work of the day, and now you are doing the work of the night, which is simply to surrender. You are safe, you are whole, and you are ready. The science of your sleep is a science of safety, a biology of peace that requires nothing from you but your trust. You have given that trust, and the body has answered with the gift of rest. There is nothing more to learn tonight, nothing more to understand. There is only the dark, the warmth, and the drift, and silence covers all. If your eyes remain open, another journey awaits. But if sleep arrives, you are already home.